Welcome back, everybody. Every once in a while, I think it's nice to change things up. So, let me introduce you to my new YouTube profile picture. If you are interested in how I made it in Affinity Designer 2, please keep watching. You can do most of this in Affinity Photo as well. But I used Designer because it's a bit easier to work with shapes. I'll start by selecting the donut tool I keep in my left-hand toolbar. I'll then drag the little red dot outward a bit to make the inner circle a bit larger. Next, I'll grab the rounded rectangle tool and drag it down. As you can see, I'm making the letter P here as in Practical Affinity. I'll drag on the side, bottom and corner nodes to line the rectangle up within the side of the donut. If you don't have some of these tools on your toolbar, just go to View in the menu and select Customize Tools. A Tools panel will open up and you can drag and drop any tools you want onto your toolbar. Alright, now I'll select both of the shapes and click on the aqua green colored Shape Builder tool in the left toolbar. I'll make sure the plus sign is clicked in the Shape Builder action buttons. And then I'll draw a line through the parts I want to include in my shape. I didn't include this little nubbins at the top, so I'll just delete it. Now, I'll press and hold the Command or Control key while selecting the P shape. If you drag to the right, it will duplicate the layer. Then, I'll right-click on the second P and scroll down to Transform, and then flip horizontal. This will be my A in Practical Affinity. I'm going to move it a bit to the right so that it overlaps the P. Then, I'll select the Node tool. I'll drag it across the bottom nodes to select them all, and then I can drag them up so that it looks more like an A. There, that's looking very good. Let me adjust the P a bit too. I'll click on the shape with the Node tool and then highlight the bottom nodes and drag them up. Okay, that's exactly the way I want it. Okay, almost done with the initials. I'll just highlight both layers. Right-click on them, scroll down to Geometry and select Add to add them together. Alright, now let's hide this for a bit by clicking on the little dot at the right of the layer. It's time to work on the color design. First, I'm going to click and drag on the top ruler to bring a guide to the center. I'll do the same for the left ruler. This helps me to see the symmetry in the design. Then, I'll go to the Window tab in the menu and open up my assets. I have the Affinity logos in the Logo category that I'll use for color sampling. Okay, I can click on the three lines at the top and select to close the panel. Then, I'll click on the Diamond tool in the left-hand toolbar. I'll place my cursor at the center and hold the Shift and Command or Control keys to drag out a perfect diamond from the center. Now, I'm going to use the colors of the Affinity logos in my design. With the diamond selected, I'll go to the Fill button in the top toolbar. I'll grab the little eyedropper and drag it over the light blue part of the Affinity Designer logo. Then, I'll click on the little dot to change my black diamond to light blue. Next, I'm going to click Command or Control J to duplicate the diamond. Then, with the Shift key held, I'll rotate the top diamond one click or 15 degrees. This time, I'll use the eyedropper to sample the dark blue part of the logo. Again, once you sample it, click the little dot and the diamond should turn to the same dark blue. I'm going to do this for each of the other four colors. I'll speed it up a bit so as not to bore you. Remember, just duplicate, hold Shift and rotate 15 degrees, then use the eyedropper to sample and then click the dot each time. Alright, now that we have our 6 color squares, I can select the logos and click Delete to get rid of them. Then, I'll hold the Shift key while selecting the top and bottom layers of squares to select all of them. I'll right-click on them and select Group. Then, I'll right-click on the group and select Rasterize to put them into a single pixel layer. Okay, with the group selected, I'm going to do a color art effect I showed you in a video a few days ago. If you didn't see it, I'll leave a link in the description. First, I'll duplicate the squares by clicking Command or Control J. Then, I'll hold Shift and use the top handlebar to rotate the image 15 degrees or one click to the right. Then, with the Command or Control key held, I'll drag the top right corner node out a little bit. This will expand the image from the center. Then I'll go to the top toolbar and select the orange and grey Send to Back button. Now, all I have to do is click Command-J to duplicate and then click the Send to Back button. Affinity Designer will remember rotate and grow the layers for me. I'll do this until my whole screen is filled. I think this design looks pretty awesome, but I want to spiral the center in a bit more. So I'll select the center image and click the Command or Control key plus J to duplicate it. I'll hold Shift and rotate 15 degrees to the right and then drag the corner node in to shrink the image a bit. Then I can just click Command or Control J several more times until the squares spiral to a point. Now, I'm going to select all of the color square layers by clicking on the bottom and top layers while holding Shift. I won't include the initials I did earlier. With the layers selected, I'll right-click on them and select Group. Then, I'll right-click on the group layer and scroll down to Rasterize to turn them into a single pixel layer. This reduces the file size significantly and helps to make it easier to work with. I want my profile picture to be round. So, I'll go to the Shapes tool on the left-hand toolbar and click on the Round Ellipse tool. Then, I'll put my cursor in the center, hold Shift plus Command or Control and drag outward to form a perfectly round and centered circle shape. Then, I'll drag the design layer and drop it on the circle shape layer to embed the image onto the shape. So far, so good. Now, I'll select the initials layer and then go to the blend modes at the top of the layers panel. I'll scroll down and select Erase. Oops, I need to click on the dot too so we can see the layer. Alright, there we go. Now, I'll use the corner nodes to resize the initials and then move it into the center. Then, with both layers selected, I'll right-click on them and scroll down to group them. Okay, a couple more things here, and then we're done. I forgot to set this up with a transparent background so I can export it later as PNG file. I can fix this now by going to File, Document Setup, select the Color tab, and then check the transparent background box. Then click OK. Last thing here. I'll go to the FX button at the bottom of the Layers panel and select 3D and click the box. Then, I'll just adjust the radius slider up to give my new profile picture some nice 3D shading. Alright, that's about it for today. If you learned something and want to see more of this kind of content, please click those like and subscribe buttons. And, if you're feeling generous, this channel runs on caffeine. There's a link to buy me a cup of coffee in the descriptions. Not necessary, but certainly appreciated. Have a great day, everyone.